What up, YouTube? It's your boy Banks. And we back in the building, you feel me? It's True Talks. Cause True Talks, all right? Let's get straight right into it. So you already know the trade deadline just happened. And a lot of moves, man. A lot of moves. Most trade deadlines, obviously, sometimes you get like the big fishes and just big names getting traded, and it's a lot of drama and stuff like that. And that has been the last couple of trade deadlines, right? You look, KD was traded last trade deadline, and just big names have been traded for the most part at trade deadline. This one wasn't so much big names, but this trade deadline I think was more impactful in terms of just all the teams that are contending, all the teams that are like, yo, everybody is 2024. Like I said, it's gonna be. I feel like this is gonna be one of the most elite playoffs we've seen in a minute. It's Kobe year. Everybody's trying. Everybody feels like they could win. There's kind of not really like, oh, they got in. That's it. Everybody feels like, yo, if we click at the right time, we could win. Especially when you have skill, when you have the demeanor, the top heavy guys on the team, all feel like every team basically has a Himothy, one or two of them. And then now, it's just more so how we gonna make our well-oiled machine click at the same time. And again, with this skill in this NBA, even if you score, can you stop us? Like a lot of people, it's different type of feeling now, and you could see it. You could see it kind of coming to fruition, which is why even the teams that seem like they're bad record-wise aren't really bad. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like even like the Jazz, they're not really bad, even though you know what I'm saying. There's so many like everybody is like the Rockets might look lesser on. They're not bad, like they're good. Like these are not scrubs. It's just that again, you have a lot of talent around the league, a lot of skill. Every game it feels like it's a battle. Every game feels like it's like you could be beaten at any point in time, no matter who it is. Even if it's the Pistons, you got Magic, you got you know what I mean. That's why you got a lot of teams that people didn't think were gonna be nice that are nice. Like so everybody that's kind of like, especially a lot of, you have young teams that are top that are nice, like OKC, Wolves. You got a lot of people just making crucial little, even not little, crucial additions that kind of solidify them gearing towards the playoff time, right? And all these trades are like solidifying type of trades. So and they make so much sense. So that's why I'm like, wow, this trade deadline is really like it's under the radar, obviously in terms of big names, but in terms of like okay, that team is nice now. Oh, that team's even a lot of the contenders got nicer, basically, is what I'm saying. A little bit nicer. You can kind of see what their vision is if you understand the game and you can kind of understand, okay, for postseason, they're gonna need that. Oh, that's gonna help for you know what I mean? Okay. And that's kind of what I'm seeing from this trade deadline. So let's go into the context. Because I give you that context. Let's go straight right into it, boys. So we're gonna talk about a lot of teams. Don't want to make it too long, pause, and try to do my best that I can. So, let's go. Let's go. Let's start out with obviously we'll start out with we'll start out with the Raptors. We'll start out with the Raptors. The Raptors made a couple of moves. Obviously, they've been over the last couple of weeks before the deadline. They traded for OG or they traded OG for RJ Barrett and quickly. Then they traded Pascal, got Bruce Brown, and got Jordan Noir, got Kira Lewis, got certain guys, and and obviously some of them got flipped again. But for the most part, they traded their two out of their starting five, right? Two important pieces out of the starting five. Their franchise player in Pascal, obviously before Scotty's becoming the franchise player, but in terms of their best player, All NBA, the franchise player, the guy who's been getting paid the big bucks, it's been Pascal. And to trade him and then trade your elite wing guy who was going to break out, you trade him. So those are two top heavy assets that you're trading. If you had the Raptors had three heavy assets: Scotty, Pascal, and OG. Those are their top three heavy assets. Everybody else kind of, it's not that they don't have assets, but those are their top three. If you're just looking at the Raptors, you want to make a trade, those are the three that you're looking at to get and to trade two out of the three. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Raptors are in rebuild, but I think that they're scanning over at OKC. You see how OKC people thought it was rebuild. You saw some teams, the Wolves thinking it's rebuild, like not necessarily full rebuild, but you know what I mean? Just mainly like even like OKC and a couple of other teams like Rockets, they're thinking rebuild. You could rebuild, but with this talent in this league that we have now today, you could rebuild and not feel like a rebuild. Where you're changing your culture, you're changing your winning atmosphere, you're getting guys who, again, they were they were restricted in certain teams or certain scenarios or situations that we're in, not that they come now over here, that now they are able to thrive and be in a better scenario, that they are proving themselves. So you have guys, you get the perfect blend where guys who need to prove themselves, young guns who are also killers, and then as well as, okay, even if we lose, this is still going to be our core that we're building as getting the reps in, and just the culture is changing. They're trying and they're getting good reps. And at the end of the day, if we do get other pieces now in the draft, it's going to add to the rebuild. But it's not like the tank rebuild. You don't have to tank to rebuild. And you can see, like, OKC, in how many years since trading for Paul George, trading Russell Westbrook, how many years? Trading Chris Paul, how many years did it take for them to be the number 1 seed, number 2 seed in the West? Better or equivalent of the teams from the guys that they gave up. All as young guns. Weren't they rebuilding? Yeah, they got a number 1 pick or number 2 pick, whatever it was, Chet. But were they really rebuilding? You didn't feel like they were rebuilding because you have men that are really trying and really hooping. So understand that. So the Raptors are obviously in that kind of, and that's what I've always been waiting for the Raptors to become like this. This is why I kept saying blow that shit up. Obviously, when they made the Kawhi trade, and once they got Kawhi, won the chip, and they traded, I've been saying blow that shit up and get real. Because again, you're not really gonna attract free agents of that Kawhi caliber, which is why you had to do it in a trade. When he's now a free agent, he left. A lot of times you're not gonna attract that. You have to either do it through trades. If you don't want to do it through trades, Messiah, and you want to keep your guys, then make sure you lock in on the draft and you get those instead of getting a Grady Dick, who I don't think he's bad. You could have got a Jordan Hawkins. Just lock in. Get skilled, talented guys that are under the radar that now you're going to be like in OKC. You don't have to go the big fish route. You don't have to. There's so much talent here. You know what I'm saying? And like, there's so much talent. So you just have to be elite with your scouting, elite with just seeing, okay, this guy can fit. You know what I mean? And that's what you can kind of see what the Raptors are doing now. They're trying to now go down that direction because they understand, okay, we're not going to get the big fish. Even when we trade for Pascal, they don't even rate them heavy. So let's go this under the radar route, and we see what OKC is doing. OKC is starting to set the blueprint for a lot of these organizations and GMs and teams. They can see man's eyes work. So when you look at it from that perspective, right, you look and the trade that the Raptors did. They traded again, which I think is a crucial trade. They traded Otto Porter Jr., Kira Lewis Jr. in 2024 first-round pick for Kelly Olynyk and Ochai Agbaji. You know what I'm saying? Ochai Agbaji. When you look at it from that perspective, like, dog, one, they've been needing a shooting big, right? So Kelly Olynyk does help. I think they're trying to make a push for the play-in, at least to get some playoff type of experience. They're going to try to make the push. So Kelly Olynyk does help right away because he could space the floor, and if they need, you have Jakob, then you kind of lack the other guy. Obviously, you had Porter Jr., stuff like that, but Kelly Olynyk is a better version of that in terms of a shooting big, in terms of, spacing the floor, stretch five, right? You want to be able to have different styles. That's what every team should have. One, if you want an inside big who can lock up and verticality and get alleys, Rudy Gobert type, defensive-minded, athletically, in the paint, whatever, you have that. But then you also have the option, because he could guard other bigs, etc. But then and rebound, and you have the option for a stretch five, more finesse, that type of stuff. But when you want to, space the floor, or you're playing small ball, or whatever the case is, you just want to have options instead of being redundant. A lot of teams have that capability. A small ball option in big, they have a stretch shooting type of big, and then a more limited inside type of big. You want to have all three options available. You want to be able to do, especially in this NBA, that's when the good teams are good. They're able to, styles makes fight, depending on read and react in the game, what we need to go with, what's going to help, what's going to make it more difficult for the other team. You have to have that option in this new NBA. It's not the old centers back then. You need three. So when you look at it from that perspective, like having Kelly Olynyk, a better version of that stretch big, does help the Raptors immediately, right away. Then you add that another thing that they did is that they added, Agbaji. He is somebody who, again, I think that they're doing that as an insurance policy in case Trent does. I think he's in his his contract year. So I'm pretty sure, obviously, if his re-up, if he wants too much bread, then it's all right, let him go in, and you have maybe his replacement, because Agbaji is someone who is like a 6'6", 6'7", 6'5", whatever type of wing, athletic. I'm built like a Donovan Mitchell. You know what I'm saying? But athletic, taller, bigger. He has guard handle a little bit. I haven't seen too much, but I think he has guard handle. Again, he was playing in a limited role, right? So there's only so much you could see, but I think he has the ability. I could just see by his movements even when he's sometimes dribbling on the pump fake, dribbling to the punch or pull up or whatever the case is. You could tell that he has a good handle, a decent handle. Has shooting ability, right? Has defense capabilities, you can see. And then also too, very, very athletic. Very, very athletic. Can throw him alleys, you know what I mean? Can punch on vert. Like, he's very athletic. So that's someone who could obviously mature and become and groom into a shot creator and a better version of Gary Trent potentially, or in that same realm. You know what I'm saying? Because he has different tools that Gary Trent doesn't have in terms of his strength, his athletic ability. Gary Trent does have those, but he's sometimes a step slow, but sometimes a step high. Like, and again, I like Gary Trent, and I think he should stay, but it's just an insurance policy. It's a business. You just also too have to protect. Okay, if this guy's to leave, let's think in 4D real quick. If this guy's gonna leave, let's think in advance and try to protect that and cushion that. Obviously, when you look from that perspective, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that he could also just be just a hooper like that. I like the little pickups like that. Like I said, again, with the Pascal trade, Jordan Nwora, you have guys that you won't see immediately just snap like that. But if you have eyes, like real eyes, you're going to realize the real lies, because the truth is, and I do this, you know what I mean? Because I'm the truest, my fault. It's just, you know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, you could see through that, okay, this guy's in that role. He's not Garbaggio. He's not trash. He literally, if he's going to be in this role, he's going to be elevated if he's able to do more. You could see his skill set. You could see what his weaknesses are or his strengths are, and he's just not able to be he's not in his strength position or strength role. So now with this team, I could see, you know what I mean? Hence why you'll see guys average 5, 6, and all of a sudden they're most improved of the year candidate, all that type of stuff with a different team, because their situation has improved. Other people see and know, okay, let me take that guy. Let me take that hidden gem. This is business. You know what I'm saying? So finding a hidden gem, I think you have Nwora, Agbaji. You have certain guys like that, especially in a rebuild, like OKC, you're going to find some guys that are under the radar that don't have big names, and then all of a sudden they start performing. Like a guy like Isaiah Joe, man. Don't think about him. Then you see him perform. Okay. Stuff like that. Jalen Williams. Stuff like that, right? You go that route or that path. So, obviously, I think that he could be elevated and be used like Agbaji, and definitely is a good pickup. You also look at it. The Raptors traded Dennis Schroeder and Thaddeus Young to the Nets for Spencer Dinwiddie. Obviously, the Raptors did waive Dinwiddie because they wanted to avoid his bonus exception that he gets. Once he plays 50 games or whatever, 1.5 mil, whatever it is. His business. I don't dive into all of those, right? But they did that and they waived him. Also, too, just looking at the fit. I think what they're trying to do is that the problem with Dennis Schroeder and Quickly was that you mix and match. So when you have a power forward or a small forward that actually has point guard skills and capabilities, who needs to dive into that as part of his unlocking and as a part of him becoming the franchise all-star, superstar caliber player. He is an all-star, but superstar caliber player. And Scotty, you can't have too many guards because it limits. Because once that guard goes to the bench, Scotty now gets elevated and now is ball handling more, right? So you want him to be able to have free reigns and to do more. So that was the problem. When you have Quickly coming out, right, and then Schroeder coming back in, you still have that fight between Schroeder and Scotty when Scotty's supposed to have the rock more, right? And then you're playing now Dennis and Quickly so much, then it cancels Quickly's ball handling ability. Now he's more off the ball more. Like, you want to, sometimes addition by subtraction is also elite in itself, because now the other players that were limited now get to break out and get to do more. So I understand that in terms of Dennis Schroeder, that kind of component. Once you remove him, and it's unfortunate because he's still trying to get his bread back since the LA deal that he could have signed. But once you move Dennis Schroeder, Quickly, Scotty will be the ball handlers, right? You still have other guys as well, and you're still obviously, but once Once quickly goes to the bench, Scotty now ball handles more with the second unit, does more. RJ gonna ball handle too. You have guys that could ball handle. Trent could do some. Like, you don't need we need a backup point guard right now to play. You still got Noel. You got guys that are there. So, sometimes addition by subtraction is elite, right? So I see what the way the Raptors are going, and it's beautiful to see. I think that they're just becoming well solidified in terms of following the OKC trajectory in terms of the um elevating while at the same time being young, at the same time rebuilding, but at the same time getting proper reps and changing your culture and just finding proper talent and actually elite guys, and everyone just becoming just practicing and elevating and finding their self and getting better as a team for when they're ready in a couple years for playoff moments, right? Everybody's just trying to basically find themselves. So I like the trajectory. You start from the bottom, but it's not a real bottom because you actually have talent. And that's the way to do it. So Masai is really, really hooping, and he's doing what he's doing. And this is where Masai's talent comes in. When he doesn't have to worry about people and worry about feelings and I want this and have other agendas, and he's just like, let's think. Let's just do what we do. He's always going to be clean with it, especially under the radar. That's where he's bread and butter. Under the radar guys, seeing them while other mans don't see. Like, he does that. He been doing that. Even when he did the Melo trade, what he got for Denver, like, he been doing that. You know what I mean? Like, he has IQ. So it's sometimes for them with Pascal and OG, I wish that he did certain things differently, but I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I do like what the Raptors are building because they have hoopers, and again, they're for every day. It's a journey. Figure it out, and then you just get a new talent, and you're just finding yourself. So I'm liking this trajectory, and it's not going to stay like this for a while because they have talent like OKC. Just follow with it. So beautiful to see from the Raptors. So let's go to the next team. I like what the Mavericks did. Again, this is where now we change in directions, where I was saying before, the contenders making certain moves to where now they're solidifying their playoff rotations, like they get in that little kick to now start on the back end after the All-Star break to now start killing during the playoff push, because I told you, 2024 Kobe year. Every man's trying. Man's want it. Mans can feel it. They're going for it. So again, the Mavs trade in Grant Williams and Seth Curry. Grant Williams, they thought it would work way better than it did. It's not like he was terrible, but he just didn't move the needle as much as they thought maybe he would do, right? He was more valuable with Boston than he was with the Mavericks because Boston played that small ball in their style that they played, the 3-and-D guys, like Jason Tatum ball handle attacking and kick out. They did more where Luka is more so ISO, and he's going to pass situationally. It's not like he's going to just drive to kick bare times. Even though Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are shooting a lot, they still penetrate a lot and get wide open looks for their shooters. Where Luka, he's going to get open looks for his shooters, but he's probing, he's slow, and he's doing a lot of things, and he's going to get his ISO, and he's caring about himself first. Not a negative thing, but he's going to get his buckets, and then now he'll hit you, and so you might not have the same type of rhythm, you know what I mean? And the defense, you don't have to make up for so much defensively because you're around so many guys, so the impact you have defensively, it feels more. Because you're a hybrid, small ball, big type of, where with the Mavs, even though he's doing that, there's so many defensive liabilities sometimes. It's like, even if I play good defense, it doesn't really matter, right? So my offense more so matters. And his offense, obviously, So, again, that's why they got P.J. Washington, a taller forward, 6'8", 6'9" type of guy, could shoot same way, has good defense too, very solid. And, again, is a bucket getter. He has a bucket getting capabilities more closer to like a Marcus Morris type, like PJ Washington is that. So when you look at that I think that's beautiful. I think that's beautiful for the Mavs. I think that helps solidify them for playoff half court play, stuff like that. When Luka gets doubled, you're gonna need guys who could hit, do a one dribble pull up, can go to the post off mismatches, could do a 1-2 more than just spot up, right? You want to have 3-and-D guys, but they're also if needed to be, they could do more than that. Where Grant Williams is 3-and-D guy and that's it. He's not gonna shot create. He's not gonna do one dribble pull. Like, he's not gonna make something happen late clock if Luka passed to you 5 seconds left and now you catch it and then they rotate perfectly and the catch and shoot not there. Can you do something? PJ Washington can. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can for real. So I like that from the Mavs. I do like that solidifying that as well too. I do like the Knicks add in Burks and Bogdanovich. That is very, 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 that's bigger than people are even. I'm not hearing a lot of people talk about that. I think that you already have OG. And again, if OG is not going to add the shot creating bag fully yet, because they're already winning, Now if they go to the half court or they need other buckets or buckets off the bench, that's the thing. Their bench lineup. You have Bogdanovich, Bojan, who's actually a starter capability type of guy. He's now coming off the bench to get buckets. You have Burks who could get buckets coming off the bench, like veteran type of guys too. Like that is very, very solid. And you lost Evan Fournier, who wasn't getting minutes. Malachi Flynn wasn't really getting minutes. Quentin Grimes, who again, I like him, but they need buckets. Like they're always gonna have defense. They need buckets. So Quentin Grimes is more type of shooter, type of get buckets. I think he can still get buckets, but he just wasn't. So they feel like, okay, he had opportunity, he wasn't. Then you got Ryan Arcidiacono. I know I messed his name. I forgot his name. I used to be able to say it, but whatever. 2 future second round picks and cash considerations. Basically, to lose that and to gain that is big. That is big. That is a big turnaround. I don't even know how they pulled that off. That's crazy. But again, the Pistons are rebuilding, so they don't need veteran bucket getter. Like, so it's just sometimes it's like, how do they pull that off? But that team is looking at it at how do we pull this off? You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand like where they're at, having young gunners like Malachi Flynn, Quentin Grimes, and Ryan Arcidiacono. They're like looking at it as yo, that's beautiful. That's what we want. That's, you know what I mean? That's what we want. We want to get younger. And, so when you look at it from that perspective, that's something that's like both teams win in different ways. Remember, what we want versus what you want is two different things. But again, the Knicks pulled that off, and that is beautiful to see again, solidifying. Another contender solidifying. The Mavs as well, too. I was talking about them. But trading Rashawn Holmes and the 2024 first-round pick for Daniel Gafford, a real athletic big that they need in the paint. He's probably going to start with them now, too. You know what I'm saying? Or he might come off the bench because Lively is starting. I forgot. Lively has been good. But having a similar type of Lively, but in Daniel Gafford come off the bench, that's beautiful. And then they can still go small if they want to go PJ at the 5. And they still have other guys, too, that they're able to go small with. So when you look at it from that perspective, like, again, solidifying. That's two guys that they got that's solidifying, like, for their last playoff push. You look at it again, solidifying. OKC, getting Gordon Hayward and only losing Trey Mann, Davis Bertans, Vasilij Micic. He's the 6'6" kind of guard. 2024 second round pick and a 2025 second round pick and cash considerations again for Gordon Hayward. Not losing anything out of the core, keeping Jalen Williams, keeping Chet, keeping Shea, keeping Isaiah Joe, all their guys, everybody that they have. You know what I mean? Like they keep the guys who they really use, they're keeping. Then you add now Gordon Hayward. Do you start him? Do you come off the bench? How do you? But it's just for, again, solidifying for playoff, because they notice that obviously when we get down and they shrink everything and they get down to half court, it gets tight. We don't want to always Shea. We need a bucket getter too. Gordon Hayward, get me some. It's your day. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you have another closer type of bucket getter who's there, who could been there, been around, been in the playoffs with the Jazz cooking. He does this, right? So he's still there and he's still available and he's still nice too. He's not a scrub. So he doesn't need to be like the main guy, but he's there like as an option. He's there as an option. So that's beautiful again for down the stretch, again, solidifying. I like that move from the Thunder, because when you have all young guys and you add one solid veteran, sometimes it's like it's a perfect marriage, because the young guys don't act like young guys. They act like veterans. So now you get a veteran who's going to help the young guys even be more veteran and help close and do some things. It's like, okay. And you surround an older guy around bare young legs. It's like a perfect marriage. It's not bare older guys. It's just one. With dogs who already are the number 1 seed without me, dog, that's a marriage. That's a marriage right there. Again, Sixers 2 solidifying. Daniel House Jr., the Pistons they traded them for obviously another pick, but they did another move that was a good move. Let me find it real quick. They did Beverly to the Bucks. That's better for the Bucks because, again, the Bucks they're trying to get that Jrue Holiday type of defense back. They do need that. Doc is there. They know they need defense. So getting Patrick Beverly to do some of that wreak havoc ability and stuff like that, especially for Cameron Payne. Cameron Payne off the bench. They didn't need like a power. They didn't need a point guard scorer. They just need a lockup merchant. That's what they need. So that's going to be able to be used as a Swiss Army knife defensively. That's what they need from Pat Bev, obviously from the Bucks. So them getting that, again, solidifying for a playoff push, right? But again, the Sixers still, they did something. Oh, that's what they did. They did a 3-team deal where they got Buddy Hield again solidifying because when knowing that now this perfect sometimes it's just unfortunate things sometimes are fortunate, and that's just even how life goes, right? Some things that are bad that just like, oh my god, I didn't want that to happen. Sometimes you needed that. So the fact that um Embiid got injured, you didn't want that to happen, but sometimes they needed that. Now that you see them struggling, right? You see them struggling with half court offense sometimes. Obviously, Maxi up tempo and he's gonna get bucks. But if Maxi is struggling, what happens, right? So now getting another shooter, but can also get buckets, and he's gonna be able probably to do more than he has ever been able to do while Embiid is injured, so he could get his reps in. So now when Embiid's there, catching and shooting, like you have a bucket getter, catch and shoot, lights out type of guy around, that's gonna help when it's time again solidifying for playoff push. They lost. The Pacers get Fork Maz, Doug McDermott, which again helps the Pacers solidify because they need shooters, more shooters for the high octane offense. That's gonna be beautiful, right? That's gonna be beautiful. So it's perfect for them. 2024 second round pick, 2029 second round pick, and cash. The Spurs get Marcus Morris, but when you look at it from that perspective, the Sixers I think did something else. They might have did something else a little bit. Um, okay, but yeah. Anyways, them getting Buddy Hill, like that is beautiful to see. That is beautiful to see, and again, like you gotta tip your hat off. You gotta tip your hat off for them for that move. I do like that. I do like that. And then the Pacers also got Corey Joseph back again from the Warriors, but again, for the most part, these are the main moves, and am gonna talk about the Suns. The Suns did a good move as well too. They got they got two guys. They traded for Royce O'Neal, but and they got David Roddy. David Roddy, so again, power forward, being able to play the small ball, can shoot. Like they need that type of, especially strong. Like a stronger center as well too in the small ball. So KD don't have to play the five all the time. He can, but he don't have to. You know what I mean? In case Bobo's getting blown by or whatever, they need some girth, stuff like that. He's able to do that. He helps that. Royce O'Neal helps that. He's like the better version of. He's like an in between Grayson Allen and what's his name, Okogie, right? He's an in between Okogie. He's in between both of them, where he's literally like he could shoot better than Okogie, but he has better defense than Grayson Allen. So like he's that hybrid. He was gonna be a beautiful match that they need with the Suns. They need that. I don't know if they're gonna start him. If they might bring Allen off the bench, they might keep what they have and then just use him more so. Okogie might lose minutes. I don't know. We'll see. But for the most part, definitely. It's unfortunate because I like Metu. I like Chiemize Metu. I like him, man. Chiemize Metu. I like him, yo. I like him. I like him. I like him, yo. I think that they didn't play him properly, but it's okay. Whatever. Yuta again goes. He goes to the Grizzlies and Metu and a 2026 first round pick swap, and then Bates D up and Jordan Goodwin go to the Nets and draft rights for Markinkovic from the Grizzlies and 3 future second round picks. And basically, when you look at it from that perspective, man, the Suns definitely solidifying themselves 3-D again. You know what I mean? And David Rod, I do like David Rod. I think he's going to be very useful. Both of them will be. So they improve the roster, and they also open up 2 spots to go get some killers. You know what I mean? They could go get a Joe Harris. But again, they don't need shooting. They can go get another wing defender. There's so many guys that can pick up that's on the buyout market that they could go get that I think would be beautiful to help them. And the Suns is definitely improving again, solidifying for playoff push. That's been the theme of this trade deadline. Solidifying for playoff push or getting younger and rebuilding the OKC way. That's what I see from all of these trades for the most part. Again, the Wolves solidifying, getting Monte Morris, that does help them for off the bench. Off the bench point guard type of play. They kind of struggle with that because obviously Conley solidified, but then you want a Conley type. Monte Morris, kind of like the Tyus Jones type, Trey Jones type, very solid. Definitely gonna be useful for the Timberwolves to run Towns go to the post. He's gonna run. He's gonna run solid plays, and he's gonna not make turnovers, defend well, hit shots. Like he's gonna be crucial again for the Celtics solidifying as well too. Getting Xavier Tillman. So you know what I mean. When you look at it from that perspective, like a lot of solidifying, like getting another big in case Porzingis is injured or whatever, and Al Horford, another big that could, space the floor, have girth, have all like everybody's just solidifying for the most part. So when you look at it from that perspective, I do like this trade deadline. I do like, honestly, all of the moves I think are probably if I had to give a grade for all the trades that I named, for especially for the contenders, all the trades that I named for a lot of the people have been like a B plus, A, no, like no matter what, because like it's actually they all gotten better. Everyone that ain't gotten better, whether in the way that you needed to get better, whether it's get younger and rebuilding, follow the OKC route, or get better in your contending in whatever you lack and fixing your weaknesses and getting it. You even got above and beyond in the fixing the weakness. You know, you didn't just get glue. You got some real like you put some concrete down. You know what I'm saying? You got some real good additions and assets. So I do like it. I do like it, man. I do like it. So for the most part, it's True Talks, because True Talks. Share, like, and subscribe. We out here. There's no doubt here, and there's drought. And there's no drought here. You feel me? I appreciate y'all. You already know. Again, click that notification button so you know when I'm here. Because I'm here. Click the links below. Follow me on all my social media platforms, Twitter, IG. You know the whole deal. You know what I'm saying? Just spread the word and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. You feel me? I appreciate y'all. You already know. And I'm out, man.